Step into the vibe, oh yeah. Feel the rhythm rise high. We're living life, let's fly. Off tap life. Sky's the limit, no shy. Off tap life.
What's up, guys? Welcome to my 2026 Royal Rumble review. And guys, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up and all that. Apparently, allegedly, it helps with the algorithm. Who says if it really does or not? I don't know, but since it can't hurt, just go ahead and do that for me if you don't mind. Now let's go ahead and dive in, because this Royal Rumble was an extravaganza. The show was crazy. It was out of this world. Like, I mean, they put on a really high production looking, everything was polished and just incredible. Don't forget, they actually built the stadium just for this event. They built a whole stadium just for this event, and you can tell that it was custom built. It looked really cool, had all this architecture, fashion, looked like art. It was really cool. The lights and everything. Some people didn't like the lights on the chairs, the LEDs and stuff. Sometimes it made it look like there wasn't people there. But it was just fantastic. Like, they went all out. Lots of LED screens in the shape of different buildings and different things. I think it was like the maybe the Riyadh skyline or something like that. But it was incredible. I don't know, man. It was just so cool. So with that being said, I want to go through everything that happened, kind of what went down, who was there, who showed up, the lows, the highs, you know, just give you my little bit of my review and my opinion overall about the entire show. And yeah, just what happened. What was the results? What was the lowdown? Let's talk about it right now. Okay, guys, look, let's get the big stuff out of the way. Let's talk about who actually showed up, because this is a big thing. Everyone wants to know who shows up. Let's start with the women's 30 women Royal Rumble, because obviously they started the show, they opened it, they did a fantastic job. Charlotte Flair was number 1, Alexa Bliss number 2, which was kind of like crazy, because it's like, you know, they're tag team partners lately, they're friends, you know, and all of that, doing the heart stuff. And the crazy thing is that, well, Charlotte ended up eliminating Alexa. Yeah, that happened. Anyways, Kiana James was there, Nia Jax, Ivy Nile, Lola Vice, Candice LeRae, Jordan Grace, Becky Lynch, Sol Ruka, Roxanne Perez, Maxine Dupree, Natty, Liv Morgan, Lash Legend, Zelina Vega, Raquel Rodriguez, Chelsea Greed, Julia, Io Sky, Oscar, Rhea Ripley, Bailey, JC Jane, Nikki Bella, Lyra, Valkyria. You had Kalani Jordan. I didn't predict that at all. Kiri Sane, and you had Brie Bella and Tiffany Stratton. Now, if you guys want to watch my predictions video, I actually did pretty good. I pretty much nailed the women's who I thought would be the special guest surprises and stuff. Like, there's actually the only thing there, like I said, yeah, I didn't think Kalani was going to be there, but she was, so, you know. And we didn't get AJ Lee, so I know a lot of people probably wanted AJ Lee show up. She didn't show. No AJ Lee, no Bianca Belair. I was thinking Bianca Belair was going to be there. No Bianca. So I don't know, dude. Do y'all think that her hand is really injured, or fingers, or whatever? I mean, whatever's happened, taking this long to heal, I don't know, y'all. Is there more to the story that we don't know? Hopefully we'll find out soon, but I was shocked that she didn't show up. So that was the women's. That's who showed up. And obviously, Liv Morgan got the W. You've probably heard that by now. If you haven't, Liv got the W. Tiffany Stratton was the last person left. So basically, Liv threw Tiffany over for the W. That's how Liv became this year's Women Royal Rumble winner. So with that being said, congratulations, Liv Morgan. That's not a bad, hey, look, that would have probably been my second choice if Bianca Belair didn't show up, and Bianca Belair didn't show up. So, hey, Liv Morgan, there we go. I'm happy with that. Also, by the way, Liv did eliminate Raquel. So, you know there's going to be I'm telling you, this Raw is going to be freaking crazy. There's so much that's going to happen on this Raw, guys. There is going to be a lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff did go down in this Rumble. I'll just tell you some of the highlights of that really quick while I'm thinking about it. So obviously you got Liv and the Raquel drama, right? You got the Charlotte and the Alexa drama. You got the two freaking El Grandes. They freaking both showed, like they both were in back to back. So this is going to be so good now because now you've got Chad back. He's the one who started the whole El Grande, but we're not supposed to know that secret. But this is going to be so good to see how they go about this. They're supposed to, apparently they want to have a match together, and fight over the intellectual property or something of the whole El Grande thing or something like that. I'll talk more about that later, but for now, I just want to kind of mention those are some big freaking points to look. Also, is AJ Styles okay? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go through. Let me talk about the winners and stuff. There's so much to cover. I'm kind of excited. I don't even know where to start. Okay, but look, the next thing that happened. Let's just talk about this. Get this out of the way because this is another big, huge thing, obviously, was Gunther and AJ Styles. And the whole thing was that, if AJ Styles lost, he would have to retire. Now, I predicted that most likely he would win and they would run it back at freaking WrestleMania. And then that's where Gunther would have probably ended up, winning, and he would have retired after that. I was not expecting him to really kind of do it now, except I did predict that I guess he is going to retire because Shinsuke Nakamura's, actually told us that AJ told him that he was going to call it quits in February at the Royal Rumble. He did say that. So he actually did say he was going to do it. And I said, well, hey, if he told Nakamura that, if the information is accurate, then I guess that's what's happening. And I guess it did happen. So AJ Styles did actually retire, allegedly. We'll have to see what happens on Raw because there was some drama after the fact, like freaking Gunther was freaking mocking AJ's family or something like that after the fact. So I don't know, man. Like, is there going to be a loophole? I thought also maybe they might find a loophole to kind of see if they can, get AJ to be able to kind of still be in it, not have to retire yet. You know what I mean? Because there was a couple things that happened to make me think that. Like, one of the things was, he did, Gunther did cheat again. He freaking low blowed AJ, which is something he really likes doing, a low blow thing. I'm a little bit worried about that. He likes doing that a little too much. But that happened. And then there was also the way that the ref, when he was doing the 1, 2, well, actually it wasn't 1, 2, 3. Like, so Gunther put AJ to sleep. And hey, shout out to AJ for not freaking just giving up and quitting like freaking John Cena, the guy who never gives up and quits, did. Because when Gunther freaking made Cena tap out, Cena tapped out. Right? You know what I'm saying? AJ didn't tap. He just freaking just took it and just kept on till he couldn't breathe anymore and passed out. Like, that's not giving up. So AJ didn't give up. Cena gave up. Anyways, story for another day. But yeah, Gunther, when that happened and AJ just passed out, the ref did his hand, and he only did it once, and he called it, right? Like, he didn't do like a 1, 2, or 3, or like, it was just very straightforward. It just kind of happened. Like, it wasn't like a, give it some time to cook kind of situation. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a reason why it happened the way it happened, maybe possibly, or maybe that's just it. Maybe it's done. I don't know. Anyways, we also had Drew McIntyre. We had Sami Zayn. We had that championship match happen. And I called it. I knew that there was just no way Sami was going to win. And guys, there was no way Sami was going to win. He didn't win. Drew ended up getting the W. That was the right call. I mean, it would have been just really a lot. I mean, a lot of people would have been really sad and upset for Drew because he just, he just got the title. Let him freaking enjoy this moment a bit, considering his, like I said, the last times when he actually had kind of a little better of a championship run was during the Thunderdome days, and no one was there to really show him love and give him the flowers he deserved. So let him enjoy and savor the moment of it. You know what I mean? All right, let's talk about the 30-man Royal Rumble. I got a lot to talk about with everything still. There's lots more stuff I want to cover, but I just want to kind of get the basics out the way, then we can go and talk about other stuff. So I just want to give you the list of who showed up in the 30-man Rumble as well. So you had Obafemi, you had Braun Breaker, you had Solo. And speaking of which, Braun Breaker didn't last long, by the way. Braun Breaker was freaking stomped by a masked mystery person in less than 6 seconds. So, I mean, he didn't even make it. He didn't even make it in the ring. So this is the whole masked person thing storyline is back. I don't know. Who is, a lot of people think it's Seth. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But Solo Sikoa, we had Rey Mysterio, Rusev, Matt Cardona, Damian Priest, Javon Evans, Mr. Iguana was there with his iguana. He was there. It was actually funny, man. I enjoyed that, actually. I actually like Mr. Iguana. I think he's cool. But anyways, Trick Williams, Cody Rhodes, El Grande Americana, like I said earlier, ×2, because we also had Chad Gable and his version, the original Grande Americana, show up. We had Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs. He did show up, which was awesome. Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Ilya Dragunov. We had La Parka, you know, also someone from AAA. We had Dragon Lee, Logan Paul, LA Knight. LA Knight did show. Brock Lesnar actually had a very difficult night. Guys, he argumentatively, either he was disrespected majorly or either it was a botch, because basically he was thrown. Okay, so he actually is the one who took out Obafemi. Like, that was dope. All right, he took out Obafemi, but then suddenly, like, Jay's coming down doing his whole yeet thing and all that crap and doing the repeats and doing all this stuff, and you know how he does his whole thing, his own gimmick, whatever, blah blah blah. Anyway, so a couple things happened during this time frame. So while Jay is doing his whole entrance thing, freaking Brock just randomly is ejected. He got freaking thrown over the ropes by LA Knight and Cody, like just like during the whole yeet thing. Like, they made it look like he was just a jobber. Like, I'm hoping, because it kind of looked like he was trying to freaking grab the rope and he didn't get it or something. I'm hoping I'd rather believe it was a botch than them disrespecting him like that. Because it's hard to think that they would just do Brock like that, right? That's just disrespectful. So I'm hoping it was a botch. I hope he was trying to reach and he just ended up, you know, the way he landed strange and he couldn't actually grab the rope or something like that happened. I'm hoping that's what's the case, because I would hate to think that they just disrespect him like that. Anyways, we could have a whole episode about that situation later on. We had The Miz, we had Rey Fenix, we had Jey Uso, as I said, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Penta, Randy Orton, and Gunther. Obviously, by now, you probably know that Roman Reigns got the W. Gunther was the last man, and he came in at number 30, and I was actually surprised because I didn't think they was going to actually have him show, considering he just had to match it with AJ. I feel like it was kind of not necessary to have Gunther. We could have given that spot to somebody else, like, oh, I don't know, Finn Balor, the person who was told he couldn't get a spot. There wasn't any. I mean, why give Gunther 2 spots? He didn't really need that spot, considering that he literally was just thrown out and he didn't win. It didn't add any value. There was zero value factor to him showing up again after, like, the fact that he had retired AJ, that was high point. Let that be the way the night ended for him. That was a great storyline. That was a great match. It was really good. Why did they bring him in at 30? I don't know, dude. It just, who knows, right? Who knows? Anyways, so Roman ended up getting the dub, right? And you know, again, this is one of those situations where I think a lot of people have, you know, you're never going to keep everyone happy. Some people are going to be annoyed that it was Roman Reigns that won, and some people are going to be happy. And I guess you could say the same thing about Liv, really. I mean, I think we all had people that we would have liked to have seen win, and things kind of happen the way they happen every year. That's just how it is, right? So, you know, I think one of the complaints a lot of people had, and I've just heard a lot of people talk about it, I see where they're coming from, but then again, I guess it's all about the word surprise. because Triple H said there was going to be lots of, or big surprise, huge surprises or something. Triple H always says there's going to be huge surprises or this or that. And then every time we are like, where were they? What happened? Did we see them or what? And I'm going to explain to you guys something. Guys, surprise, the word surprises means different things to different people. Like a surprise, some people have this big grand idea of a surprise, the unexpected in a big, huge way, right? And I think the crazy thing is probably a lot of these surprises we got were actually kind of big surprises. But because all of us, first of all of us are constantly watching various wrestling prediction shows. We're watching anything to do with wrestling content all the time across social media and whatever. And then we also are just very intuitive, right? Because to us, LA Knight returning, for example, is not a surprise. Like even if he wasn't announced or whatever, we just expect he was going to be there. People like Nikki Bella, it was kind of like, yeah, that's not really a surprise because she's been kind of back now. It's kind of like an expectation that she would show up, right? I mean, you could even say the same thing about freaking Trish. Sorry, I wanted Trish. She didn't show up either, by the way. But I was actually talking about Stratton. She kind of expected to show. It's kind of like you've got the main players in the game. She was the previous women's champion before Jade took over, and so you kind of have these expectations of people who are going to be there, right? Like it's a given. You know what I'm saying? I'm also surprised that we didn't, again, I'm just shocked that we didn't get Bianca. I think even if she had shown, again, that's kind of like not really a surprise though, right? Because you would kind of thought that she would be back by now. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just really wondering if there's more to her story. I don't know. But I'm looking at this list here of the women's entrance, and I mean, one cool thing, we did get Natty. We got the freaking, instead of her normal heart version, we got Natty, the badass, the low-key legend. I love Natalia's freaking new Natty thing, and that was what she was doing on the indies, and people loved it, and they finally bought it to they should have already did this, but they've done it. I like it, man. This is going to do well. I wish they would have let her cook a bit more. They didn't let her cook enough, in my opinion. But yeah, it was cool. It was really cool to see. So let's talk about Sol Ruka, by the way, because Sol Ruka, man. Sol Ruka is incredible. She had another incredible showing, and she was just freaking absolutely showing up and showing off. Look, she needs to be on the main. If she doesn't get called up after this Rumble, like she should be called up immediately. Like, she looks better than a lot of the people who have been on the main roster for much longer and been doing it longer than her. Like, she's, she was doing her, acrobatic circus type ballet type, stuff and everything. And she hasn't been wrestling for only what's it, 2 to 4 years now or something like that. Like, and she's just freaking so good. Like, seriously, dude, she was the most exciting person out of everyone to watch. Really. Like, out of all the women, she's just freaking up here, dude. Like, seriously, put her on the main roster now. Now, without delay, do it. Another thing, the biggest pop of the night, ladies and gentlemen, guess who got the biggest pop of the night? Was Brie Bella. Brie made her return. I said it, I called it. I said, hey man, it'd be dope if Brie, that's an unexpected return. Be dope if Brie came back and helped her sister. And she did. She came back, dude. And the Bella twins were freaking doing their thing together. The yes chants were crazy. The yes chants were so loud. They were doing the yes chants. Brie started doing yes kicks. I mean, they were doing the yes things. It was so good, man. It was like Daniel Bryan was back. It was so awesome. I really loved it. And that's cool. And that shows you something, right? Here's the thing, this is what I'm saying now. This is what I'm saying when people say surprises and stuff, because this is what I'm saying. Surprises can mean different things to different people, right? Now, to me, Brie coming back is a legitimate surprise. Not because it is a surprise, because it's been talked about and rumored to be happening. She said she wanted to have another run. It was kind of an expectation that she would come back, right? But the fact that she did come back, and the fact that the people, I think the big surprise to me was the Saudi crowd there. Like, I mean, they all, they knew exactly who she was. They knew who her husband was. They knew the Bellas. They were all in on it. It was such a cool thing to see a legend like Brie get that type of response. And the Bella twins are freaking the original tag team of the whole the whole movement. You know what I'm saying? She's coming back and putting that Bella twin army, putting that whole system, that whole freaking just team back into play was so cool. I love seeing her get that type of love and that response. That was awesome. That's one of the high points. To me, a huge high point. And that's why I'm saying surprises, it's all about your perception and your perspective, because some people that might be like meh, but I thought that was huge. I also thought that we did have surprises, like a lot of things you couldn't, it was a surprise. Whether it was a big surprise or whether it was a great surprise, that's up to discussion. But I mean, look, you did have some surprises, right? They were things that you didn't expect to happen, possibly, So, I mean, we've got a lot of cool things to look forward to on Raw. I just think we're going to really just have a great show. Hopefully some answers or questions are answered sooner rather than later. I hate when they drag out the whole thing. Like, are we going to drag out this whole freaking mask guy again? Or are we going to find out tomorrow on Raw? A lot of times, traditionally, WWE, after a major pay-per-view or premium live event, they like to have the next Raw be freaking lit, right? You might get another surprise or something. Speaking of which, two people I'm hoping will make their presence known tomorrow on Raw. Now, we might get one of them, we might not. But I'm hoping they maybe was just like, hey, let's save some of the goodness for Monday Raw. We need something. We've got this dope set. Because I think they're pretty sure this Raw is still going to be there in Riyadh. So I think they wanted to have a little something to get people excited about, right? So Chris Jericho didn't show up. I'm hoping that we get some Chris Jericho tomorrow on Raw, or the next day on Raw. I'm hoping that happens. The other person is, I was hoping for Paige, and we didn't get any Paige. So I'm hoping maybe Paige or maybe Bianca Belair. Maybe they were saving her, they're like, yeah, look, let's save it. We'll save it for then or something. So give me one of those. Give me one of those. I feel like we're going to get something good and juicy for Monday Night Raw. So fingers crossed something like that happens. But the fallout from this show is going to be great. We're going to have the whole, so now you've got, because Natty, by the way, she's the one who threw out freaking the man, Becky Lynch. She's the one who threw her out, and she made it look effortless. She made it look easy. Dude. So we're going to probably have some type of Natty, freaking Maxine Dupree, Becky Lynch type, maybe triple threat. I don't know. Something's going to happen there. That's going to be good. Again, like I said, we've got the whole Judgment Day situation now. Like, is this going to be the end of the Judgment Day? What's going on? Is this going to just, like, who knows, right? Like, there's going to be something. Also, shout out to Lash Legend. Lash Legend had a great showing. She absolutely just was booked to look like a monster, and she did. She freaking was just throwing out tons of people. She looked great. Speaking of other people who looked like monsters and looked great, Obafemi came out and he was tossing the first 6 or 7 people. He just made light work and threw them over. So that was cool to see. He was just really booked well to look like how he should have looked. Like, he's the next big thing, you know what I mean? So shout out to him. Which we may get a whole, because Brock's the one who threw him out, we may get a Brock and Obi, Oba, I said Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oba, we might get them. That might happen, dude, at WrestleMania, who knows? We might get that at WrestleMania, and then we might get Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam, because SummerSlam this year is in Brock's hometown. So now there's rumors that Brock is also going to retire this year. I don't think I've heard Brock say that himself, so I hope not. I feel like we let's, come on, slow your roll. We've had enough people retire this year. Come on, calm down. Calm down. Don't get rid of Brock yet. Okay, calm down. JC Jane, you've got, like, right now NXT has quite a few people who I think could actually transition to the main roster right now. I think that she is another person who's probably ready. What else is there left for her to do in NXT? I feel like they could bring her up. Some people I was kind of disappointed in. I didn't really like. I feel like Candice LeRae, for a while now, I feel like she's not been shown the love. She's just been more of an escort for Johnny most of the time. She's just, her husband. She just kind of escorts him to the ring and stuff. I don't feel like she gets the love that she deserves. I don't feel like she gets the limelight that she deserves. I feel like that she should definitely be shown a lot more respect, because she is dope and she can go. Like, I don't understand what's going on there. A surprise that I didn't mention, that I didn't predict it because I didn't think it would happen, so I didn't bother. But would have been cool if they were looking for just a massive pop. If they were looking for someone who could have really just have been a better choice instead of putting Gunther in again at 30. Freaking Karrion Kross, dude. Imagine Karrion Kross coming in and they let him walk in with the MLW freaking title. Because he just won it, guys. He just won the MLW championship. So imagine Karrion walking in with the championship. The pop would have been huge. Like, people would have freaking went nuts. Like, the one thing that kind of just confuses me about WWE, and it's just an observation, but I feel like they know exactly what we want. Like, they know what they have to do because we make it very, known. Like, every fan really is very vocal about what they want. And we don't get it quite often, right? Like, we're like, why don't you just do these things that, they do opposite a lot of times of things that they know that the fans want. Like, they get rid of Karrion Kross even though the fans want Karrion Kross. Like, it's like you should have fought for Karrion Kross, Like, it's a lot of things like that. Like, Johnny Gargano, not Johnny, we just lost freaking Ciampa, right? Ciampa is a guy who, again, talking about people who just weren't shown the respect that they deserved and weren't booked to the maximum that they should have been booked. Like, why couldn't Ciampa have had more title opportunities and really just be kind of in that upper echelon? Because he's a beast, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that. Like, I look at this whole card and I think, man, there's so many missed opportunities. Like, for example, I still don't understand why The Rock has just been MIA. He comes, he makes this whole freaking story thing, he injects himself in this whole situation, we never see him again, and then it's like, dude, like, missed opportunity number 30. Could you imagine if it was The Rock instead of Gunther? Could you imagine if The Rock came down at number 30? Oh my gosh, guys. I promise you, let me tell you, if The Rock was number 30 and The Rock came out and him and Roman was at the end, people would have lost their mind. That's the dream match everyone wanted. That's a missed opportunity. You see what I'm saying? That's a perfect example of a missed opportunity. And that's what you call a surprise. Everyone would agree that's what you call a surprise. Okay? People who are already making appearances on the main rosters here and there from NXT, those aren't surprises. They're kind of expected because we know they're just moments away from being permanently on the main roster. So those aren't surprises. And people that you didn't mention or that didn't declare, but we know they're going to be there, like people like LA Knight or whatever, like that's not surprises. Also, there's so much leaked information and stuff. Like, we knew Chad was coming back. We knew Chad was was probably going to be an entrant. So it's not really a surprise, right? I mean, the story's cool with the whole dual Americana, the whole storyline that we've gotten from this is dope, right? But it's kind of like, are we surprised though? Not really. We kind of expected that. Was an expectation. The powerhouse Hobbs worst kept secret. We knew that was happening, so that wasn't a surprise. But technically it was a surprise. All these things are surprises, even though they're not surprises. One would argue that maybe it's just because we as fans we're too locked in. We're always watching wrestling shows. We're hearing the dirt sheets, we're hearing the freaking rumors, we're hearing the freaking opinions of everyone. Everyone is also just very locked into the whole, WWE world. So we just kind of know what's happening. Like we know what's going to happen, kind of. It's like it's so obvious. So in WWE's sense of a surprise, if you really want to surprise us, you have to do things that aren't obvious. Like any of these things that have happened really were kind of like, yeah, we kind of expected that, right? It's already been discussed. It's already been kind of leaked. It's already been hinted as much, So that's what I think people wear the whole surprise thing, because technically they're surprises, but they're just kind of low level surprises. They're like, it's a surprise, but it's like, it's like you're a kid on Christmas and you see this big, like, bicycle that's wrapped in Christmas paper, and it's a bicycle, right? It's a surprise, but you've been saying that you wanted a freaking bike for freaking the whole year. You've been wanting one, and then you see this big thing wrapped, and it can't be anything else but a bike because of how it's wrapped. Like, it's like, yeah, it's a surprise, but it's not really a surprise. You already kind of knew it was going to be a bike, That's kind of a good way to kind of explain this whole situation. By the way, shout out to Logan Paul. He was in the Final Four. I didn't predict that. I did not see that coming. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I think that some could call a surprise because I don't think anyone put that on their bingo card. But that's cool because Logan's great, man. He's got skills. He's got the talent. He's got, now he's a full-timer. So, hey, man, give him some promo. Like, let him get out there and do his thing, I think that some of the things that happened after the show, which a couple things happened. So let's start with, again, I was talking about just how, because this is the controversial thing. So with Gunther mocking AJ's family and stuff, that happened backstage and, in the hallway and everything, like that almost turned into, looked like a real life brawl. Like that's kind of put a whole new spin on, is this retirement really happening? Or has this somehow this is going to be the loophole? Because this could be the loophole that we are looking for to keep AJ around for longer. Because let's face it, we all want him around for longer. So this could be the loophole. It's like, yeah, I was going to freaking honor, but since you had to go and disrespect my family, I had to talk with the freaking manager, and hey, guess what? I'm back. Pierce said so. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. I don't know. It could be, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think there's definitely going to be some. I don't think we've seen the end of AJ just yet. I think there's going to be a twist to this somehow. I'm hoping, at least, right? And then, let's talk about the tension between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns, also, speaking of which, because the bloodline there was stuff going on, dude. Like, for starters, it was funny when Jay was doing his repeat thing in the ring. And by the way, that's crazy that he's doing this during the Royal Rumble. Like, dude, you gonna run it back? And he's gonna try to do his whole theme playing in the Yeet thing at the Royal Rumble. Anyways, it was funny because he did it. And then Roman was like, Roman did like that to repeat it. And then Jay was like this. Roman freaking ended up freaking, taking him out. Anyways, speaking of which, it was quite, I think the whole Roman, having to kind of, just Roman kind of having to play that whole situation, where he has to still take into account that his family and stuff, but he also still has to win and has to be dominant. There's some type of fine line and some balance, and it's quite interesting, the whole situation, right? Because people forget, like, even Fatu is actually Roman's cousin. Like, they're all family. All these guys are family, dude. Solo, all of them are family, right? They're all part of the same bloodline kind of situation in reality. So it's quite interesting how watching the dynamic of how Roman has to kind of play, like, yeah, that's my boy Jay, that's we're tight, we're close, but then in the same token, having to also kind of be like, yeah, but you know what? I'm going to put you in your place and I'm going to win this thing, like the dynamics of all this, and still seeing then later even after freaking Roman sucker punch freaking Jay when the whole repeat thing. And it was still funny because then later on you still saw Jay and Roman, they actually hit the freaking 3D, that freaking 1D or whatever it's called, the whole power bomb thing, when they take someone and they work together. So my point is, they were working together still, and there was like no hard feelings from Jay, it seemed. But I think there's going to be, because guess who eliminated Jay? Yep, if you guessed Roman, you might be right. So there's going to be a lot of just interesting things come out of this, whether it's on Raw, whether it's on SmackDown. Like, the fallout of this whole Rumble should be good. There should be some good stuff. Like I said, the whole two El Grandes, I think that's going to be good. And also, they also showed Tiffany was saying that she was robbed by Liv Morgan. Post-match, she said that Stratton said that Liv used an illegal rope assist to stay in the match. And so Stratton was peed off, man, and she trashed the locker room and refused to do any press and all that stuff. So that happened. That went down. That's some more freaking little just post-show madness, if you will. And yeah, I think I don't think I missed anything else. Did I miss anything? I think I've really actually covered pretty much all the high points of what went down and what happened, and just the main parts that I really actually enjoyed. And the Brock thing, I think hopefully that was, let's reiterate, let's hope that was a botch. I don't like the feeling like he was disrespected like that, because he's too big of a legend and star to be disrespected like that. I liked, I liked the masked man concept, that whole thing, kind of. I liked the fact, because that's a surprise, actually, technically. I don't think anyone expected there to be another masked man story within the whole vision again so soon. So you could say that's a surprise, right? I guarantee no one would have bet that. No one put that on their bingo card. No one said that's going to happen. That would be a surprise. So whether you think there was no surprises or not, if you really are honest with yourselves, there was some surprises. There's unexpected things happened that you couldn't have possibly guessed. That's a surprise, right? Because there's just no way. No one would have also thought that freaking, like, let's be real, guys. Who thought that Braun Breaker would not even make it, like, into the ring? Like, you would have thought he would have eliminated few 10, 15 people, maybe even win the thing. He's hot at the moment, and he freaking ends up getting stomped and not even enter the ring. That's kind of a surprise. No one guessed that. Everyone thought he was going to win. I didn't think he was going to win, but a lot of people did. So that's a surprise, right? Like, this other thing, Matt Cardona showing up, that's not a surprise, right? We all kind of expected that, there's people that I wish that would have been there. I wish there was some other surprises. Like I said, I wish The Rock would have shown. I think that's the biggest one. I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity. I just don't know what's going on with The Rock. I mean, and his daughter. I mean, freaking, AKA Ava, his daughter from NXT. She was the the whole manager there, and she didn't renew her contract. She's just like not doing it. So I don't know what that means, but basically it's like, okay, what's going on with The Rock and his daughter? Like, they're just kind of, what are they doing? Like, I mean, Rock's on the board of directors and all that kind of stuff and blah blah blah, but with TKO and everything, what? But hey, like, do you guys feel like maybe they are kind of like having some type of backstage situation, something going on in the backside, and they're like, nah, we don't even want to be part of WWE now? Like, I don't know, something's going on, I feel like. Anyways, guys, I think I've covered the high points. I think there is pretty not, there's not really much else to really say. I mean, I enjoyed it. I did think it could have had a few more bigger surprises, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time because I like the Royal Rumble, and I think that, again, the production was just crazy. The big fireworks display at the end was just nuts. The fireworks, some countries couldn't put on a fireworks display like they did. Like, seriously, it was like New Year's Eve freaking times 10. Like, they had drones, dude, flying and doing shapes and spelling out WrestleMania Vegas and all this kind of stuff. They did a whole show. Because I was looking at the clock, and I was like, maybe we are going to get The Rock or something happen. Because, when Roman won, there was still like 8-9 minutes left, something like that. I was looking at the thing on the thing. I was like, oh, there's still time left, dude. Maybe we are going to get something else, right? And we did, kind of. We got the freaking incredible fireworks display. It was freaking out. I mean, look, they didn't just have fireworks coming out of the stadium that they built. They had fireworks on a bunch of different buildings around the whole freaking, like, city skyline. Tons of them. And the stadium. And drones spelling out words. And, dude, it was huge. And it went for like 7 minutes. It was like I said, it was like a New Year's level fireworks display. It was incredible. So, anyways, that's enough. I think we've covered the big high points. And guys, I think that it's definitely worth you guys checking it out for yourself. And if you haven't already, and if you have watched it, let me know in the comments, what did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Did it actually make you feel warm and fuzzy, or did it make you feel like you hate the world? Let me know in the comments. Let me know who was your favorite entry. Was there someone that you was like, oh yes, I'm glad they showed up, that's awesome? Was there someone that made you cry? Like, why are they there? Did you cry when AJ ended up freaking retiring and losing? Or was you kind of like, yeah, I thought that was gonna happen and it didn't bother you either way? Like, were you happy with the results, Liv and Roman, or were you kind of like really depressed about that? Let me know in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. I'll make a follow-up video if you guys make a bunch of comments about this, and we can talk about it some more. I do have more details that, well, I can go more detailed into certain bunch of different topics, but we'll wait to see, maybe let it cook for a simmer a little bit, see what the fallout is on Raw and, the upcoming days, and see if we hear anything, and then we can kind of go from there. So thank you guys. I love all of you. As always, remember to, when it full is, keep it off tap, out. We gotta get out of here. I'll catch you guys later for another vlog.